What we have here is the state flower of Kansas, Helianthus annuus. It's an annual called native annual. Basically the common sunflower is what we're looking at here. You can see it's creating its nice big seed head. We've already got a little, looks like native bee visitor here, already pollinating him. And look where he's landed. It looks like he's probably been planted by a bird or the wind. Seed head split apart and a seed found its way into the back of our nursery here, and this is just kind of an area. It's not really anything. Definitely not some sort of a garden with any kind of amended soil. As you can see, we have sand. We have some richer, darker clay-like stuff here. Mostly sand though, and as you can see, most of the things thriving here right now are just native grasses or sedges, or like this guy, a flower. And that's one of the most common mistakes with our native plants, is that people over amend their soil. They think they need all these products to change up what they already have in their yard, and that's because of all the companies that advertise their soils. Soil amendment can be helpful depending on what you're growing and where you're growing it, and the location and all that, but native stuff for the most part wants to be grown in our native soil. So right plant, right place. You know, this guy wants to be out in the middle of a very sunny area. As you can see, he's out in full sun, no trees around. He's in a very kind of rough area. The wind's blowing, it gets good air circulation. Random flooding events, you can just tell from the way that the soil is going in the ground here, that the water just kind of drains down into his root system there. So he's really just relying on runoff and random flooding and regular water. So he's not getting any irrigation. Look at him just coming up all nice and perfect. I see little to no disease issues. He's lost a couple petals due to the wind, but he will continue to grow. He even has a new bud. Let's see if we can't focus in on that. There's a new bud there. Camera won't focus, but there is a new bud there growing. Oh, there you go. You can see it now. I lost it again. Oh well. That's our Helianthus annuus. Here's a perennial Helianthus. This is a variety we carry that is also native. It's just starting to bloom now. As you can tell, it's pretty different than the annual. First and foremost, the flower is much smaller. The seed head is also much smaller. You don't get that awesome big bloom like you do with the annual. You can always sow the seeds of the Helianthus annuus if you'd like. That's the best way to grow those. They're not usually in production for sale, the actual plant, but the seeds are typically available in our garden center in the spring, and many others if we're not a good location for you. So this is one of the larger maturing Helianthus we carry. We have a nice big crop of that, just starting to bloom here, mostly budded up. This is the Helianthus salicifolius autumn gold, and it's going to bloom like its name suggests right on into the fall. There's a nice big line of it right there going all the way through into the distance. And then over here we have Helianthus lowdown. This is a really small maturing, as the name suggests, lowdown. Also perennial. You can tell it has very similar foliage to the tall one. Not as large of a crop of this. It looks like I do have a bloom over here. Also much smaller and very different than the annual native, but still very good, especially if you'd like to have this in your own yard without the guesswork of seeds or nature just taking over and letting one pop up the way that our random wildflower appeared in that area in the first part of the video. And that's a Helianthus you can buy. This variety is in a 1 gallon for $9.25. So you can tell we have plenty to share. This other variety is not having a price in it at this time, but I'm sure it's a very similar price. We can list that with a picture of the flower at the end of this video.